He barely managed to stop the car when he felt it, those cold, judgmental eyes. Two officers were approaching him, their gaze sharp, and something about it felt off. In an instant, everything changed. He didn't just escape, he altered the game. What happened next left them frozen, unable to move. But let's rewind to the start. It was a crisp Saturday afternoon in Los Angeles when Detective John Anderson and his partner, Sarah Mitchell, cruised down Sunset Boulevard. The streets buzzed with the hum of weekend traffic, and the afternoon sun bounced off the sleek glass facades of the city's high-rises. It was just another day in LA, until something caught Anderson's eye. A black Lamborghini shot past, slicing through traffic with the kind of confidence that made heads turn. Anderson's gaze sharpened as he observed the driver, a young black man, probably in his mid-20s, dressed in a sharp suit. The car was unmistakable, the kind that screamed success. But Anderson saw something more than just wealth. He saw a challenge, a break from the norm, something that didn't fit his expectations. His instincts kicked in. He glanced at Sarah, a silent agreement passing between them. "We're pulling him over," he said, his voice steady but firm. The Lamborghini eased smoothly to the curb, almost rehearsed in its motion. The driver, Marcus Daniels, rolled down his window, offering a smile that felt more practiced than genuine. "Afternoon, officer," he greeted, his tone polite but underlaid with quiet confidence. He wasn't rattled. Anderson approached the window, his hand brushing against the holster on his belt. "You know why I stopped you?" he asked, scanning the driver's face for any hint of nervousness.
"No, officer."
"Was I speeding?" Marcus replied, his confusion masking the tension Anderson could feel in the air. He was calm, too calm. "We've had complaints about cars like yours weaving through traffic. Mind if I see your license and registrations?" Anderson asked, his voice sharp. Marcus didn't hesitate, handing them over with practiced ease. But Anderson wasn't satisfied. The Lamborghini alone had raised a red flag. "You're driving a car worth more than most people make in a year. How exactly can a guy like you afford it?" The question hung in the air, sharp, pointed. Something didn't sit right with Anderson. He didn't know it yet, but he was about to step into something far deeper than a simple traffic stop. The question lingered, heavy with suspicion. For a moment, Marcus's eyes narrowed, a flash of defensiveness crossing his face before his calm demeanor returned. "I work hard for my money, officer," he replied, the words flowing smoothly, though there was now a faint edge to them. Anderson raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. "You really expect me to believe that a young guy like you can afford a car like this?" The silence that followed was thick and uncomfortable. Sarah, sensing the rising tension, stepped forward to defuse the situation. "John, maybe we should just—" But Anderson cut her off, his voice icy. "Step back, Sarah," his eyes never leaving Marcus. The challenge in his gaze was unmistakable. "This guy's hiding something. Let's see if his story checks out." Marcus felt the weight of the judgment pressing down on him. This wasn't just another traffic stop, he knew it. The assumptions they were making about his age, his skin color, his success, it was all too familiar. He had felt it countless times before. People underestimated him, judged him before they even knew him. But today, he wasn't going to let it slide. Standing a little taller, he spoke with controlled anger. "I'm not hiding anything, officer. I've worked my ass off for everything I have. Maybe you should stop assuming things." He could see Anderson's jaw tighten, but Marcus wasn't backing down. Not this time. Not ever again. The tension was palpable, thick with unspoken words and frustration. Anderson motioned for Sarah to call and back up, but as she reached for the radio, Marcus felt the moment shift. He wasn't just some kid in an expensive car anymore. He was being unfairly judged, and it was starting to get under his skin. With his pulse racing, Marcus muttered, "I've had enough." His fingers instinctively moved to the console, pressing the button. Instantly, the Lamborghini roared to life, its engine growling deeply. Without hesitation, the car lurched forward, tires screeching as it tore down the street, narrowly missing the police car. The engine's growl echoed down Sunset Boulevard, a stark contrast to the tense silence between Marcus and Anderson. Marcus swerved through traffic with a precision that left the police car far behind. Anderson's eyes widened in disbelief as the Lamborghini sliced through the lanes, the driver a blur of defiance and determination. The police car's siren wailed, but Marcus didn't flinch. He wasn't just running from the police. He was running from every stereotype, every expectation. The chase had only just begun, and he wasn't about to let anyone stop him. Less than a minute later, Marcus slammed on the brakes and pulled into an alley. He got out of the car and stood, facing the officers as they screeched to a halt behind him. Anderson was seething, his face flushed with anger. But Marcus wasn't backing down. He stared at them, his voice calm but carrying weight. "Are you really going to do this? Do you even know who I am?" Both officers stood frozen, unsure of how to respond. Marcus took a step closer, his voice now laced with controlled fury. "I'm Marcus Daniels, CEO of Daniels Enterprises. My company is one of the biggest real estate firms in the city. I've donated more to the local community than you've probably made in your entire careers. You want to arrest me because you think I'm just some thug in a fancy car?" He took another step closer, his voice trembling with restrained anger. "You owe me an apology. Right now." The officers exchanged a glance, realizing the magnitude of the situation. "I'm sorry," Anderson muttered finally, his voice low but sincere. "You should be," Marcus replied, his voice softening. "Next time, think before you judge." With a final look at them, Marcus climbed back into his Lamborghini, started the engine, and drove off, leaving the two officers standing there, humiliated. As the Lamborghini disappeared into the distance, Sarah turned to Anderson. "Man, you really messed up there," she said quietly.